Okay. I mean, usually it's marked up by me, but um, a big part of the parsha has about the story of Dinah. Viseitzei Dinah basleila sheolda liYaakov liris b'vnei haaretz vayaros Hashem ben Chamoy achiv nesi haaretz vayikachos vayishka v'os vayaneh. So she went out to see the girls. Shem saw she was a girl. He liked her, and he
conjugal relations with her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why?
And now she says, Bas Leah v'loy Bas Yaakov.
Question.
What? Dinah's Bas Leah and not Bas Yaakov. And Lashem Shetziosa Nikra Bas Leah. Shaf hi Yitzionis Hoisa. That she was like her mother. Her mother was also Viseitzei. Like it says in the Pasuk, Viseitzei Leah Likros. And according to one Girsa, although Mashlu HaMashal, on her comes the Mashal, Kima Kibita. Yeah. So the Medrash, it comes from the Medrash. There's a long Medrash. I'm just cut the last piece of the Medrash. The Medrash is the Medrash Rabbah, the beginning of Parsha Pei, and there's a whole discussion, and someone, Rebbe was upset, and there's Reish Lakish, so Amar Le, Mal Dechsiv, it says in the Pasuk, Kol HaMoshel Alayich Im Shalemer Kima Kibita. So he said, Amar Le, Kebaz Kenima. Just like,
Not the mother like a daughter, or daughter like a mother.
yeah, like what's up, Shat? Kedor Ken Anosi. Ke Mizbeach Ken Koyanav. Ach Amr Lefun Ginsa Ganana. That just like a mother raises her child, and the child is like the mother, the Nasi raises the generations. Generations like the Nasi. Amalei Shlokish Ad Kadun Lo Chasilit Min Mefaiste Al Hodov At Maisali Uchri. It has to do with the conversation over there. Someone was upset at someone. He's saying you're bringing new things. Ikre Shaldover in the Kolam Eshel Mao. Amalei Turta Nisha Ad Brata Biita. That you don't punish the shor unless the daughter does something bad. Leisita Sazonya, the brata zonya. That the woman is mezana when her daughter is mezana. Amrleim came Leah Mena Zoyna Isa. So Leah was a Zoyna. Amrlo him. He answered yes. It says Vateitze the Krosa Yotza Kushetes Kizoyna. That when it says that she went out, Leah, towards her husband, she didn't just go out. She put herself makeup and she made herself beautiful, just like a Zona tries to make herself beautiful. Ari, could you give me the seltzer over there?
Yes, yes.
I see right over here. So it's like Leah could almost never get it right, you know. It's feel bad for Leah. So the one time she gets dressed up and she goes out and she's all fancy and she gets ridiculed that as if she did something bad like a Zoina. And the Gemara says, "L'fikich v'teitzei Dinah bas Leah." In other words, yeah, the Medrash says that Leah did the wrong thing and her daughter did the wrong thing. Leah dressed up like a Zoina, and that's why her daughter Dinah dressed up like a Zaina. I don't think this goes very well in 21st century understanding of victimhood. That we're blaming, it almost sounds like we're blaming the victim. I don't know.
Yeah.
If a woman is pretty and she's raped, do we blame the raper or the woman? Do we say that she's raped because she was so pretty and she shouldn't have been hanging out after midnight dressed in a suggestive way? Would you think today in the court such an argument?
No, for sure not.
No, for sure not.
Well, what they would say is, they would say to the victim, it is not your.
Exactly. So the Medrash seems a little harsh. The Medrash seems a little harsh. And I'll just bring two examples that they go in the footsteps of the Medrash. The Herachaim Vayishlach Dinah Tam Amr Basleya. It's coming across the idea Asiba Shasov Vayitzia. In Mispar Gimel V'zeu Shir Akosav. Vayishlach Dinah V'tam Yitzia L'tzad Yosef Basleya. Shilo Yosef Bas Larocha Lo Yosef Yotzes. L'tzad Yosef Bas Yitzionis. Medrash Rabba. Bereshis Rabba Perek Pei, which we just learned. If she'd been the daughter of Rachel, she would have been modest. She never would have went out. Nothing ever would have happened. The whole problem is because she went out.
What's his name?
The three nekudas why she ended up being a victim. Number one, because she was Bas Leah. Number two, Yolada Yolda b'mizgavativa. That's because it says Asher Yolda Viseitzei Dinah is medayik in the three words, in the few words. Bas Leah number one, Asher Yolda number two, Liyaakov number three. Asher Yolda means she had a certain nature to be an outgoing person, and that's the second problem. Which is Liyosef bas Yechid al Yaakov bas Achaz ben Abonim. Oid Liyosef bas Yaakov yotz lo Shem av Yosef ba'olam. Shevam tzuzeh also Shem asher also kasher abah. That how did people know B'chlal that she exists? So because Yaakov was a father, she was famous. Tzedor Amor says Viseitzei Dinah bas Leah lohoidis kiloi shal v'leishoket. B'yoyse shal v'shoket miyatina v'isha lekrosei shalei keminig v'nei Yisrael tznos v'yez ba'avleila v'lei bas Yaakov af b'shenel de Yaakov leilomda deracha v'musre v'zeh liris v'nei Saretz v'lasas kimasei. She went out to see the girls. Why did she go to see the girl? To learn bad things from them. So that's why she ended up being a victim. Ouch. Ouch, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go that well in 21st century.
Yeah.
And the Rashi seems to be quoting the Medrash. Rashi seems to be quoting the Medrash. Thing is, he doesn't quote the entire Medrash. Perhaps Rashi wrote the mashal, kima kibitl, like mother, like daughter, but he doesn't bring the whole thing, saying that that whole negative sting, that she dressed up, she put up makeup, she tried to look like a Zayna. Rashi doesn't say it. And the main thing is, it's like Rashi says, I feel begnuz behema tameya lo dibra koso. Zecha tzadik lavrocha. We always want to say good things about tzaddikim. Why would we say something so negative? To say Viseitzei Dinah means that her mother was a Zayna and she was a Zayna. Her mother put on this extra pink and purple makeup, and she put on the extra pink and purple makeup. The other mother dyed her hair purple, and she dyed it. And her mother was a Zionist, and she's also a Zionist.
That's a shot.
Come on. Why would you say something negative? You wouldn't even say for a behemoth tamei something negative. Why would you say about Leah, which is one of the four holy mothers, who was buried in the Maras of Machpelah? The Jewish people all go back to the four mothers. To say that Leah had such negative things about Leah, and you can't say, "Oh well, we tried to whitewash Dinah." You want to say it's not Dinah's fault, it was in her DNA. It was like she got pulled from her mother to be that way. So first of all, it doesn't make sense to try to exonerate one by putting negative on the other. And if Rashi wants to really explain the double language, Viseitzei Dinah bas Leah sheyolda Yaakov, so he said already. Rashi already said that Leah's Dinah was through Tfilas Leah, because really she should have been a boy. And when Leah realized that she was a prophet, she realized that Yaakov will have 12 children. There's only two more boys that need to be born. So Leah said, if my baby is going to be a boy, that's going to be boy number 11.
Yeah.
It means how many boys are left to be born?
One.
That means my sister Rachel will have how many children? One. Silpa has?
Two.
Bila has?
Two.
So that she's not even going to be like one of the shvachas that was zeichet to have two children. She'll only have one. So she davened, and the baby turned in from the baby turned from a boy to a girl.
Wow.
You see, that's you think Enkel Chodesh Tachas
Yeah.
Hashemesh. You see, also back then things happened like this. So the emesis the Shachla Torah brings a moed to kavod. That's why she was outgoing. Aish takelich, but really her neshama, she was a boy. She was a boy in the body of a girl. Huh? It makes for a good plot
Mm.
for some Broadway show. She was a boy. She was just in the body of a girl. That's why she was a Yitzionis. A lot of Meforshim talk about this. In the Sefer Eitza Das Toiv Reb Chaim Vital brings many pirushim about this. Shachar Batoida, and then many Meforshim talk about this. But anyway, bottom line is back to the question: why would Rashi say something negative about Leah? It ever says, and furthermore, did Leah do anything wrong by trying to go out towards Yaakov? Rashi says that she did positive. Vayishmal kim Leah shoyim mesavim machzeres lahar b'shvatim. She wanted to have more shvatim. So how could you say a bad thing about Leah? The Rebbe says, and maybe we learned it once, so it's a protest, we're learning it again. The Rebbe says that Rashi didn't say anything negative. All Rashi said that she was like her mother. He didn't say anything negative. He didn't quote the end of the Medrash to say that her mother dyed her hair pink and Dinah dyed her hair purple. Rashi never said that. He never said nothing about pink and purple. All Rashi said was that she's like her mother. Maybe it was a good thing. It was not a bad thing. Rashi didn't say anything bad. Because you learned the Medrash and you're learning all the Meforshim, and you think that Rashi meant the same, and he's blaming the victim. He's blaming Dinah for being violated. Rashi never said that. Maybe Rashi meant something very positive. What? Learned in the previous Rashi when he took where was Dinah? Rashi says, he took a box and he was hiding Dinah in the box. Why? He didn't want that Esav should see her and she's pretty and he'll want to marry her. Yaakov got punished for that. He got punished because maybe she would have made him do tshuva. She would have made Esav do tshuva, so there was a punishment for this. Okay? Got punished.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What was it? Dinah also?
No, Dinah wasn't to blame.
Okay.
Rashi says that Yaakov got a punishment.
No, but you were saying that they had to hide Dinah in a box because she was a pretty woman, and if he would have married Dinah, Dinah would have tried to get Esau to do Shuva. Well, I knew that about Leah. I did not know that also about Dinah.
Now you know? Okay. Now you know. Rashi says, Shema Tachzir and Elamuta. We see from here that Dinah had a very strong power to make Esau do tshuva. And then the fact that Rashi says Shema Tachzir and Elamuta is because that was the time to Yaakov. Yaakov says, look, Esau has Bechira Chosh, but could be Klap Ishmael, Galia. The Eibishter knew that was for sure Tachzir and Elamuta. So therefore, you could say that just like the story with Esau, that the Torah says that Dinah has the power to make Esau do tshuva. So the same thing here. She went out to make Baalei tshuva. She went out, leaders b'vnoisa oretz, not to learn the bad ways, to teach them how to do tshuva. The Rebbe says a moed to kavod. The Rebbe says like this. We say Take ein koren lovas el shloisha Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. Chazal say that like Avram Chotzon Ishmael, like Yitzchak Chotzon Esau. Yaakov is mitos shleim. The same thing in the Mos. The main imos is Leah Verochel. Leah Verochel are the main imos. And many things we count Leah and Rachel are the main imos. The Zohar says that why was the Ikrish Mizbeach, the whole Beis Hamikdash was in the land of Shevet Yehuda, but the Mizbeach was in the land of Benjamin. So he says because Yehuda is, even though he did tshuva, but the Mizbeach has to be in the Chelek of a tzaddik. Binyamin never sinned. Binyamin never sold his blood. The two people that were always tzaddikim, which is Binyamin and Yosef HaTzadik. We learn in Chassidus, Yosef is tzaddik Elyon, Binyamin is tzaddik Tachten. They're tzaddikim. The other Shvatim, they did something wrong. They're Bali Tshuva. Why? Because Rachel is the idea of tzaddikim. And Leah is the avodah Bali Tshuva. That's why sagt the Rebbe, Eine Leah Rakes, Berochel is ifas Teire, ifas Mare, Rochel is avodah tzaddikim. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. Toya is that every day, Eva is Akrashi is perfect. Mare is the shine on the face, which is the Ramache Vorim, and the Shasai Gidim is perfect. Perfect. Every one of the mitzvahs is perfect, and there's a special shine on the person's face. If the blood and the gidim are not good, then the person never could have a greenness in their face. But when the person is healthy, so then their face is shine. They're healthy. So Rachel is the Torah Fasmara because her mitzvahs were perfect. But Leah ain't a Leah Rakas because she cried. Who cries? Bali Tshuva cried. That's why Yaakov, Yaakov is Rachel. Because Yaakov is used to Yosef Holim. He relates better to tzaddikim. He understands avodas tzaddikim. Yaakov, which is Ishtam Yosef Holim, does not understand so much avodas Bali Tshuva. Chazal say that there was a people said that Rachel will marry Yaakov, Leah will marry Esav. So in other words, that there really was a thought that there's a connection of Esav and Leah because Leah could make him a Baal Tshuva. So even if Leah itself couldn't do it, but her daughter was able to do it. There really was, even though Leah itself was not meant to marry Esav, but Dinah had this koyach from her mother, that koyach of making Bali Tshuva. And that's why when he hit her, he got punished. So you could say that that's the pshat, ki'ima kibita, according to Rashi, it didn't mean a negative. It meant a positive. It meant that she had the power to make Bali Tshuva. So she went leaders with B'nai Sa'or. It's not like the Medrash to learn bad things from the B'nai Sa'oretz. Rashi never said such a thing. Rashi never quotes the end of the Medrash. Rashi meant that she went out to do meftzayim. She went out to influence the B'nai Sa'oretz, not to get influenced by the B'nai Sa'oretz. So therefore, the end of the story was that really a little bit of what she came out in a positive, or part of what she did came out in a positive. Number one, the people were all mal, even though they were chayiv misa and they got killed, but they all had a bris, right? So bris means that they had they did have a bris, and the women never got killed. What happened with the women? They came b'shevi. They became so ultimately, what she did had a positive results. So therefore, there's nothing to say that Liba de Rashi were blaming the victim. Medrash Taka has a different thing. Medrash has a different mahalach. Medrash is the Medrash, and a lot of Mefarshim are going with the Medrash. But there's nothing to say Rashi's trying to bring out a negative. Rashi's maybe trying to say a positive. That she was outgoing. She was outgoing. She had a nature that she could influence people. It's just like Leah had the nature she can influence positive. Dinah had a nature to influence positive. Elamai, Yaakov was a punishment for Yaakov because he locked her in a box. For whatever other reasons, something negative happened, but there's nothing to blame her. She really was perfect. The Rebbe says, from here we learn a lesson from this Rashi. According to the Medrash, we say she should have stayed home. She should have stayed under her mommy's apron. But Rashi, if we're saying this pshat that it was a positive and was only a punishment for Yaakov, so the Rebbe says, if that's the case, we can learn a lesson. The lesson is the women have a special koyach. The women have a special koyach, and therefore the women should try to use their koyach to influence the generation in a positive way. Just like we said by Dinah, that Dinah went out, leaders, so audits, to influence, to make Baal Tshuva. So therefore, women, Bisman Hazeh, Rebbe says obviously it's to be an effort. Tznius, called Kodem Basmalach Nimmer, and it's a pneumistic type of, but we can learn from Leah and from Dinah that there's a certain mila for a woman that could have, women have a special koyach, because they have a soft touch that they should be able to make out of. So therefore, this generation, that's a lesson. Yeah, it's a shkocha pratis, because because today is my grandmother's yahrzeit, and I told the story recently, but so yahrzeit, I'll tell it again. My grandmother didn't, this whole Maftzayim thing was like, she came from the shtetl, and she really, 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 really lived in the shtetl, even though the shtetl has been destroyed way before the Holocaust. In other words, her shtetl. In other words, whatever was left behind the Iron Curtain. So the Soviets already destroyed the shtetl. That was, already, that started already in 1920. So Yimach Shemon v'Zachron. So she lived in the shtetl, and right, and so she once wrote a letter asking the Rebbe for a bracha or something. The Rebbe wrote back, huh? No, the Rebbe, our Rebbe.
Oh,
Later on. She came to America eventually.
I mean, she came to France.
Yeah. So the Rebbe said that she should ask if she's doing Miftzayim. So she said, first of all, she doesn't know the language, Taka. She lived in France, so she didn't know too many words in French. And she said, B'chlal, it's not my teva. She grew up in a totally shtetl. In her mind, she was in a shtetl. She was crying for the shtetl. So, it wasn't B'chlal. She was in the piece of singing Ich will gut sein, ich will fromm sein, with her children, with her eniklach. So, when the Frierdiker Rebbe was sending people different places when they came out of Russia, she told her husband, I don't care where you're going. I am not going to Australia. So if you're thinking you're going to Australia, because there was a lot of families, there were places that had availabilities. Frierdiker Rebbe was sending people based on what was available. But she said, I'm not going to Australia. So she said to the Rebbe that's not shaykh, that she can't, what is she going to do?
Miftzayim is not for me.
Miftzayim is not for her. The Rebbe answered that any person that came in Medina and was able to stand strong in the Nesyonis in Medina so for sure that they have the koyach to influence another person, so she definitely could do Miftzayim. The truth is that eventually she came to America, and what happened was, because when I got married, they decided they're going to come to America. So my Zed actually never had Alzheimer's then, so they told them to put on slippers, so they put on slippers, they went on the plane, they could come and daven a mincha. So then Taka, for the last 20 years of her life, she used to go a lot to Brighton Beach, and over there's plenty of babichkas, and she could talk their language. Their language she could speak, even though you should know the Jews that came from Russia. They didn't speak, even though they were doides. We're in America, one generation, we speak perfect English. But the Yidden that lived in Europe, they didn't mix with the Goyim. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
the generations and generations they didn't speak the local language. Like you see in the Shalos Chuvas about names, different cities, going back even 1,000 years in Germany. The question was that the Yidden pronounce it one way and the Goyim pronounce it another way. So the answer is you have to write it the way the Yidden pronounce it, because that's not negay the way the Goyim pronounce it. But still, Yidden usually spoke the local language. So she did Mitzvah. Anyway, tonight is her Yortzeit. Yeah, I guess today was her Yortzeit, so I'm saying it in each Muslim. And we see from here that the Rebbe says that women have a special koyach, and that's the pshat in Rashi. Rashi says she was outgoing lemalyusa. She had the koyach to influence, and she wanted to use that koyach to influence Bnei Sa'aretz. Also today, Jewish women have to try to go out, other Jewish women, to influence them, and kiyum ha'torah v'mitzvos. Okay, so l'chaim. That we have a special generation that is like it says. It was the neshamas before Mashiach comes. We in the shame neshamas of the women that went out of Mitzrayim, and just like by Yitzias Mitzrayim, and there's schus went out of Mitzrayim. The schus the women before Bias Mashiach will be Zoytche. Mashiach come. So that's what the Rizal says. So based on what the Rebbe is saying here for statement, that's why in this generation, even if in many generations Avodas Rochel was good enough, now there is a special inyan for Avodas Leah. Avodas Leah is by making Balachuva, Yitzionis for a Jewish woman. Again, Kamuvim Vagam Poshut, it's Betor Yidri Atznias, V'chulu Chas V'shalom. The Torah doesn't change. But still, there's a new opportunity, Bisman Hazeh. The truth is, the shtetl was different. I mean, the Bubby didn't go to Macy's and to Bloomingdale's. The Bubby didn't go v'chulu. The shtetl, Yidden Latake lived in a totally.
They sold their own clothes, their own food. Everything was homemade.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, Rabbi Shalom, was a bocher. The Rebbe sent him to Melbourne to cook. And the Rebbe came out with Tzaneshik. So, bocher had to go to Miftzeh. One of them said, Tzaneshik. So he said he went to a house, and the Sedem was there. The man opened the door. He said, "Do you have a little girl in the house?" The man knocked the door. And "Get out of here." He said, "No, I just want to give candles to your daughters." It's a bocher, so tmimik, that
Mishkachap in the Zaktis. I should have looked fast. Okay, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
We have a million?
No. We don't have a close to me. Forget it.
So let's go to.
Yeah, you coming with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Tonight is a special l'chaim for Rabbi Avram Fishman.
Son. Engage. Where's the
Your grandmother.
It's 15 and Avenue at the corner.
Oh,
The ground has a round thing above the door. Right. Round glass above the door.
15 or 16? 15 and Avenue N.
It's on that right on that side of the trade show.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So I'm coming with you.
Amen.
Maybe we'll do it tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're gonna have a big Tuesday night we'll have a big minyan.
Yeah.
We're having Verbrengen. Let's do before. I think the bigger Verbrengen is good when we do before. So
You don't have to start right.
Yeah.
so we call it 3.